That is so cool. You are just covered in pollen, my man. Look at you. Look at those thighs, man. Ooh-wee. All right. Well, here's the garden. Let's get my coffee. And yeah, a little update. Pepper's been coming in. Nice. I've been having to really do a number on all the aphids. The ants are better farmers than me. I would say they're even ranching, whereas I'm just farming. They're ranching little aphids all over the place. But I've had tons of cucumbers. The Malabar gourd growing strong all over the place. It's been growing up into the Australian willow and into that what is that? Phalaenopsis. So it's all over the place. Got this really nice tall sunflower at probably like 12 or 14 feet. And I think I'm going to try to pick some corn today. We mulched the whole garden. So even the middle section pads where we had just really dry dust for a pathway, and really get all over the place. I mulched it. Great pathway now. And just been dealing with our kind of inconsistent sun, but here and there, some of these tomatoes, some of these purple tomatoes, have started to show a little redness, and they've ripened out really nicely. Looking forward to some of these other tomatoes to ripen, but definitely been pulling a lot of cucumbers and dealing with some powdery mildew. So I actually removed some of the plants that were most affected. I had patty pan squash here, I had zucchini, and I had yellow crookneck squash, and they were terribly infested with powdery mildew, to the point that now I'm dealing with, powdery mildew on some of my tomato plants, which, god damn it. So I had to remove a lot of the bottom leaves, which has improved some airflow. I do think that it's important to keep some of these fruits shaded from what can sometimes be really intense direct sun. But the cantaloupe didn't seem to be so affected, although I just don't understand what's going on in this section of the bed. I think it's really got a lot to do with the sand soil that I'm dealing with. So I'll be continuing to apply compost over this week as I get back to the nursery and buy some new vegetables to replant. I'll be going through, should be pretty cured. Looks a little wet, so I'm gonna just continue to let this air out. And then when I've sifted through that, I'll sift through this. This is my late stage compost. All my fresh stuff is going into here. And then once it's had a chance to start decomposing, it goes into here. I think that's probably the best method. But if anybody has any suggestions, I am trying to catch that liquid in this container on that setup. So if you think if I can catch more, worm castings and liquid shellate or whatever, leachate, in the first stage, and this usually has a few weeks before it gets moved into this one, and that, usually will go for about the same length of time. So we're talking 3 weeks, maybe another 3 weeks. be curious to know where I might be able to catch more liquid from. But, you know, I'm excited about all that mulch that I got. There's a huge pile of wood chips that I can add slowly to my compost, which should help enrich my compost a little further and give me a better product. And I am thinking about maybe expanding, making this a lettuce bed, but I've had serious problems with the lettuce. I know I have to address the soil, but I think my biggest issue is just with light. I get some direct sun early in the morning, and then I am really in some heavy shade for the rest of the day. To kind of give you an idea, here's some fava beans that I planted in this corner. And over here, planted at the same time, here's some fava beans. So there is a lot more direct sun that this bed receives, and it may be that I'm dealing with some soil problems, and if I correct that, I can improve. I mean, we did have some really nice harvests. I've got aphids all over the place. I got the aphids on the chard, and I feel like if they were in more sun, they would be bigger leaves and maybe growing a little faster. I could start pulling them off a little sooner and eating the chard and not letting the aphids have so much time on each leaf. But, you know, first year's issues. So these are all the challenges, but it's a work in progress. It's joyful work, and it gets better. So don't forget to have fun in your garden and make some art. And we'll talk to you all a little bit later. Much love to you all. Love you.